Welcome back. Today on Real Reviews, we're here with a side-by-side comparison between JBL's largest portable party speaker, the JBL Partybox Ultimate, and Sony's largest battery-powered portable speaker, the Sony ULT Tower 9. We're going to be doing a features comparison as well as a sound comparison so you can see which one of these speakers may be the best for you. Now let's take a look at the speakers, starting with the Sony ULT Tower 9. You'll notice the nice reflective Sony badge there at the top, followed by some LED lights that go around the speaker. Then we have a vent for air circulation, 2 tweeters, 2 mid-range drivers, and 1 large square subwoofer. Then on the bottom, you'll notice you also have some LED lighting that also go around the speaker. Over to the JBL, starting at the top, we have a color changing light that also doubles as a strobe. Then we have 2 tweeters, 2 mid-range, and 2 subs, followed by LED light strips all around the speaker. Even in the center around the subs, we have more LEDs, and notice have LEDs around them as well. And we have our nice JBL badge in the middle. And then we have more LED color changing strobes all up and down the entire front of the speaker. And finally, it even has floor lights that change any color you want. Over to the right side of the speaker, starting with the Sony, you'll notice at the top, you can still see the LED lights going around there. Then you have your 1 tweeter in the back, followed by a nice kind of like brick pattern design down the side of the speaker. We also have our first mic holder. And then at the bottom of the speaker, you'll notice more color changing LEDs and the wheels. If you notice the Sony wheels, they kind of stick up from the ground. So it is kind of nice since they're not always touching the floor. Over onto the JBL Partybox Ultimate, you'll see you do have that nice LED light strip that goes down and around the sides, followed by their water drop pattern and the JBL badge. And you'll see the JBL wheels right there in the back. Over to the left-hand side of the speaker, starting with the Sony, you see you have your LED lights around the top of the speaker. You have your tweeter in the back side there. Second mic holder in the front, nice brick pattern design down the side, and more LED lights on the bottom. Over to the JBL, we have the LED light strips all along the side and edge, nice water drop pattern with the JBL badge in the center. Neither one of these speakers have any pads to lay them down on the side. Since they're so big, they're probably just not designed to be laid down at all. Taking a look at the back of the speaker, starting with the Sony, you'll notice you have your handle right here in the back for carrying and moving your speaker around, followed by your LED lighting, pretty nice. Then we have our 2 tweeters here in the back. And right underneath that, you have some ventilation for some air circulation. And then we have our rear port here. You have our USB-A port for charging and for media playback, optical in for TV sound booster, 3.5mm audio in for connecting wired devices. Then we have our battery button, which will tell you your battery percentage. And if you hold it in, it places it into battery care mode, which limits charging to 90% to supposedly conserve battery. Right underneath that, you have another port back here, which I believe has the batteries inside of it, but it's probably not for you to open up. Not even sure why they even have it like that. I guess maybe for servicing the batteries at the factory. Right under here, you have your AC port, and all along the back, you have your nice brick pattern, followed by your wheels down here at the bottom. Pretty decent looking wheels, a lot better than the ULT Tower 10's wheels. Over on to the JBL Partybox Ultimate, you have your handle here on the back, has a rubberized feature right here. You have your JBL badge right there, Partybox logo. And then we have the back panel of the JBL Partybox Ultimate, which does have lighting, which is really nice. There we have our mic jack, mic/guitar jack, USB-A port for charging devices and media playback, 3.5mm aux in. You have your switch there for your secondary mic or mic/guitar. You have your daisy chain for connecting wired devices, as well as a volume control for the second mic jack and gain controls for both. Coming down a little bit further, we also have another panel here, which is where you can store your power cables, which is really nice. And then finally, our nice big bass port and our AC adapter port. Then we have our JBL Partybox wheels here at the bottom. Nice wheels with the JBL logo. These wheels feel really nice and sturdy. Finally, onto the top panel of the speakers, starting with the Sony. See, on the Sony, everything has lighting on it, which is really nice, but there are no physical buttons or knobs besides just the power button and the ULT button. Starting from the top here, we do have a panel you can open up. Underneath here, you have your mic jack, your mic/guitar jack. You have your volumes for both. And there is a button right there if you're going to be using guitar rather than mic. This just closes right back down again. We have our connect button, which allows you to connect multiple speakers together. We have our stereo pair if you're doing TWS, key control, which changes the key of the song, make it go faster or slower. Then you have your echo controls for the mic there, which does have several echo modes when you press that. We have our lighting effects modes here. So we have multicolor, which is on right now, or you can choose any light color that you want from these colors that are right here, or you can leave it on multicolor. Then we have our Bluetooth button, optical in for TV sound booster, audio in. If you're going to be using 3.5 millimeter, we have a USB, play pause button, volume down and volume up, and then our power button and ULT button. Now the ULT button does have two modes. You have deep bass or you have overall more power to the speaker. I kind of like the ULT one for the deeper bass. In my opinion, that sounds a little bit better. And then obviously you have your all around handle here at the top, which is definitely very useful for moving the speaker around and positioning it. And you have your LED lights all around that handle. Take a look at what the LED lights look like. Let's see if we can see them a little bit better underneath here. They don't look really too pretty if you're looking at the bottom, but from the top, they look really cool. Over to the JBL's top panel here. See that we do have some knobs and buttons. I like having physical knobs and buttons. We have our lighting knob and button here, changes your lighting modes or turns the lights off. We have our play pause button as well as the volume control right there. Then we have our power button, Bluetooth button, Auracast button for connecting multiple speakers. You have a favorites button for setting up a Spotify or something like that if you're using Wi-Fi. You also have your bass boost, which has two bass modes, has deep bass and punchy bass. And then here are your mic controls. You have the mic volume, bass, treble, and also echo controls for your mic. And here is the reverse side of your handle right there. You can see the rubberized grip. Then you have a nice LED light strip around the entire top of the speaker. Now, both speakers, they do have a spot for placing your devices, although they are kind of thin, so you really can't get much in there. And it will probably just fall out anyway. So it's probably not even worth really mentioning that, to be honest with you, but they're there nonetheless. The JBL also has a nice party pad in the middle here where you can set up sound effects through the app, 3 different buttons. And there also are other features of the party pad, which you guys could check out inside of the app. Now we're going to take a look at the wheels of both of these speakers and how they work. So first, let's take a look at the way the Sony looks versus the way the JBL looks. Now the JBL is a bit more rubberized. It feels a little softer versus the Sony feels a little bit harder than the JBL does. And let's just see how it moves around here. So if we're using a Sony, the wheels, since they're kind of like up in the air, it takes a little bit more to be able to get them down and start rolling the speaker around. But it does roll pretty well, although the wheels, they don't roll quite as freely as the JBL wheels do. See kind of the way that they work right there. And when you want to place it back to somewhere, you kind of got to get it. See, like if you're already turning it like this, the wheels are already stopping. So it's already hitting the floor. You kind of got to drag it a little bit. You can't move it at that point. But they do work overall well. I mean, good enough for the speaker and a lot better than the ULT Tower 10 wheels. Now let's take a look at the JBL Partybox Ultimates wheels. As you can see, these wheels, they just, since they're on the floor the whole time, they work a lot better. They roll a lot more freely. And you can actually bring it down further. Like I could bring it down all the way like this and keep rolling it. It's not getting stuck. See, so if I want to bring it to a wall, it's much easier to bring it up to a wall on a JBL Partybox Ultimate. So I think the Ultimate wins for the wheels, but the Sony does have some decent wheels and definitely better than the ULT Tower 10 wheels. Now taking a look at the app, starting with the Sony ULT Tower 9, we can see here that we do have some Bluetooth features here. But the main features in the app are really the DJ control, the party lights, and the karaoke. We just got these with the recent firmware update. Let's take a look at DJ control. So that does actually have some sounds, like you have robot sound. You have drums, pretty cool. Scratch, audience, voice. I mean, there's a lot of different sounds in here that are pretty cool that you could do. And then we also have the party lights. Now, party lights, you can't really do too much. You can kind of just set a color or you can flash the lights if you want. But besides that, there's really not much you could do in here as far as the lighting goes. And then finally, we have the karaoke effects. Now, the karaoke effects are cool because you do have different voice changing controls. So you could do different voice changers here. If we have a mic on there, we could do voice changer, we could do echo key control, and you can also take out the vocals of pretty much any song. So that's pretty much what the ULT Tower app does. Now, if we go over here to the JBL Partybox app, let's take a look at what we have inside of here. We have a little bit more functionality as far as the lighting goes. So here are the lighting. You can pretty much change everything that you want and customize it. You could turn off different lighting modes. You could turn off everything. You could just turn on certain things if you want it, or you can have everything on. You can customize the lighting colors. It's just a lot more that you can do inside of the Partybox Ultimate as far as lighting goes. Then you do have Effect Lab as well, kind of like the Sony did, with a bunch of different effects there. I'm not going to go through all of them. Those different effects can be programmed into those 3 party pad buttons on the top of the speaker, or you can also use them from the app. Then you have your playing controls. You have your top panel settings. So here's your party pad settings. You can set it up however you want. And then we have our light show. So this has more lighting features. You could turn on the different, you could turn off different lighting modes, the ones that you don't like. So if you don't like loop or you don't like bounce, you could turn those off, or you can leave them all on. And then we also have a moment, which allows you to set up favorites to that heart button at the top. Then we do have some mic effects, not too much, but you have bass, treble, and echo, and your volume control, and you do have a equalizer. Now this EQ is only a 5-band EQ versus the Sony does have a 10-band, so that is a little bit better here. That is a little bit better on the Sony. Then you have your bass boost control. Sony also has the bass boost for the Alt 1 or Alt 2. And here on the JBL, you have your deep and punchy bass. Besides that, there's really not much else you could do inside of the apps. So I just wanted to show you guys what both of these speakers look like at night with the lights on, playing some music. So DJ, go ahead and hit it. Let's go over the specifications, starting with the Sony ULT Tower 9. It has two 2-inch front-facing tweeters and two 1.6-inch back-facing tweeters, two 4.8-inch mid-range drivers, and one 12.5-inch woofer. On a JBL Partybox Ultimate, we have two 2.75-inch tweeters, two 4.5-inch mid-range drivers, and two 9-inch woofers. The Sony delivers 153 watts from the outlet versus the JBL Partybox Ultimate is stated to give 1,100 watts of power. Frequency response of the Sony, there was no official data listed. However, on a few websites, it did state 20 Hz to 20 kHz. On the JBL Partybox Ultimate, the frequency response is 30 Hz to 20 kHz. The weight of the Sony ULT Tower 9 comes in at 65.2 pounds with dimensions of 16.1 inches wide by 17.9 inches deep and 35.8 inches tall, while the JBL Partybox Ultimate weighs in at 87 pounds with dimensions of 17 inches wide by 17 inches deep by 41 inches tall. Since the Sony is battery powered, it has a charge time of 3 hours for up to 25 hours of playtime, and it does get a slight power boost when plugged in. Connections on a Sony ULT Tower 9, we have Bluetooth 5.3, USB-A for charging your device and playback of media, 3.5mm aux, 1/4-inch mic jack, 1/4-inch mic/guitar jack, and optical in for TV sound booster. On a JBL Partybox Ultimate, connections are Bluetooth 5.3, USB-A for charging your devices and media playback, Wi-Fi, 1/4-inch mic jack, 1/4-inch mic/guitar jack. The app used on a Sony is the Sony Sound Connect app, while the app used on a JBL is the JBL One app. Features of the Sony, we have an IPX rating of IPX4 for the top panel only, while the JBL Partybox Ultimate also has IPX4 water resistance. Extras for the Sony, we have sound field optimization, which by detecting local noise, it automatically changes the sound setting to deliver clear music even when you're surrounded by other sounds. Stamina mode, which when set to on, the lights and sound modes, including all ULT modes, are set to off, and it supposedly increases battery life. TV sound booster, which in my opinion is kind of gimmicky since it only serves as a subwoofer, but some may like that feature. It also has 360-degree party sounds and lights. The Sony also has an auto shutdown feature, plus a quick charging feature, which says you can get up to 180 minutes of playtime with just 10 minutes of charging. Extras on the JBL Partybox Ultimate, we have Auracast, which allows connection of an unlimited amount of supported devices. Auto shutdown feature, which will turn the speaker off if not used for a given amount of time. It also offers room correction, which will automatically tune itself to the surroundings every time you turn it on, so you always get the best musical experience. Party Pad, which offers customized sound effects you can set in the app, and it also supports Dolby Atmos for a great listening experience. Current price at the time of filming for the Sony ULT Tower 9 is $899 US, while the JBL Partybox Ultimate comes in at $1,299 US. Now we're going to play a few tracks for you guys so you can see what these speakers sound like compared to one another. They'll both be playing at 60% volume with their version of deep bass enabled. That's going to be ULT 1 for the Sony, Bass Boost 1 for the JBL, and the Sony will also have LDAC enabled. So please just sit back and enjoy the music.
We're running out of options. I didn't know them, but we took every precaution. Now you're holding back, but I can hear the pain underneath your breath. I can feel the shame running through your head. I just wanna stop it. I just wanna stop it. Where do you turn when you need someone? Where do you hide when you just can't run? Where do you go when you have no home? When you have no home? What do you do when you're losing sleep? Real life doesn't beat your dreams. I just wanna know if you feel it too. It's me and you, all alone in a crowded room. I remember the moment I got left behind. Faces fade to black as they move from the light. Am I even real? Even real? Everywhere I look, I'm starting to feel time is eating me alive, me alive. Drowning in the light. Who am I? Time is eating me. Keep dreaming, but my dreams keep flying away. A song with far beyond. Keep chasing them and I never rest for a day. There's something I don't do. I feel the wind blowing my face, but that's alright. I smile at people passing by. Some smile back, some might not. I'm always looking for a shade when it's hot. I've been low key and I'm trying to stop. God, I'm feeling good. Yeah, but and off I go. Pretty afternoon, it's a fast forward. Looking at the skyline, looking back at my life, and I gotta say it's one of a kind. Yeah, but and off I go. Pretty afternoon, it's a fast forward. Looking at the skyline, looking back at my life, and I gotta say it's one of a kind. There's a beauty in the way you're worn, and the sharpness of your thorns. So vibrant in the imperfections. In the pain there's something real. All that anger's so concealed. Still you're lost in how to feel. Just let me hold that severed world.
So after listening to both of these speakers and trying different songs on both of them, including bass songs and pretty much any genre you can imagine, I have to say that the JBL Partybox Ultimate seems to have better quality components and just really pushes the sound out there, has a lot deeper bass as well. But the Sony ULT Tower 9 is an incredible speaker. It's battery powered, lasts for probably 10 hours at high volumes with the lights going, and it does have deep bass. I mean, the JBL Partybox Ultimate is going to hit probably 20 hertz, maybe even less, while the Sony ULT Tower 9 is getting down to right around 30. But for most listening experiences, you're probably not even going to notice the difference. And the Sony is, like I said, definitely a great speaker. I do recommend it. It is a big improvement over the ULT Tower 10. It has a better box. It has better design to it. The handle is stronger. They've done a lot of improvements to it. All of the speakers are better. The highs, the mids, and the sub all seem to be better. They have a special new feature on the bottom of the speaker. In the center, it has a new ULT port, which is actually a patented port. And that allows the bass to just come out from all sides of the speakers without even having to put it in a corner. Because the JBL Partybox Ultimate has a lot of bass, but if you don't have it in a corner, if it's not like bouncing off of something, you're going to lose a lot of that deep bass. Versus the Sony, no matter where you put it, the bass is just always the same. It always sounds just as good. And if you put it in a corner, it will probably sound even better. So I have to say JBL is the winner for overall sound quality and the deepest bass. Sony wins for features and for battery powered. So just depending if you're looking for a speaker that you're going to have plugged in all the time, or something you could just basically throw in the back of your car and crank it up while you're driving down the road, is going to determine which one of these speakers might be the best for you. And one other thing to mention on the Sony is that there are two versions of it. So they do have an AC powered only version that does have to be plugged in at all times. And they have the battery powered version, which is the one we have right here. So be mindful when you're purchasing to make sure that you're getting the correct version that you actually want. I will have links for both versions in the description, as well as a link to purchase the JBL Partybox Ultimate. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell button so you never miss another video on Real Reviews. See you guys next time.